Have you ever felt like the bond with your kids isn't as strong as it used to be? Maybe you've noticed they don't call as often, or when they do visit, it feels more like an obligation than a heartfelt connection. If that's something you've been struggling with, you're not alone. Many seniors feel this way, and it can be tough to know where to start fixing it. But here's the good news. There are simple steps you can take to rebuild those relationships, and I'm going to walk you through them today. In this video, we'll talk about why these gaps happen between parents and their adult children, and more importantly, what you can do to bridge them. The key is understanding that while some of this distance might feel personal, a lot of it has to do with life changes, busy schedules, and even misunderstandings. By making small shifts in how you approach your relationship, you can create a stronger, more meaningful connection with your kids. And it all starts with taking the first step. Let's begin by talking about one of the biggest reasons why kids seem to drift away: communication, or rather, the lack of it. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I've tried reaching out, but they never seem interested. And that's a valid concern. But here's the thing. Communication isn't just about calling or texting more often. It's about how you communicate. A lot of times, conversations can unintentionally come across as judgmental or critical, especially if you're worried about your child's choices or lifestyle. For example, asking questions like, "When are you finally going to settle down?" Or, "Why don't you spend more time with us?" can make them feel defensive, even if your intentions are coming from a place of love. So, what can you do instead? Start by shifting your focus from giving advice to simply listening. When you talk to your kids, try to ask open-ended questions that show genuine curiosity about their lives. Instead of saying, "Why aren't you visiting more often?" you could say, "Tell me about what's been keeping you busy lately. I'd love to hear more about it." This subtle change makes a world of difference because it shows them that you're interested in their life without putting pressure on them to meet expectations. Over time, this kind of positive interaction builds trust and encourages them to open up more. Another important point to keep in mind is that actions often speak louder than words. Sometimes, showing support through small gestures can go a long way in strengthening your bond. For instance, sending a thoughtful text message just to check in, or surprising them with something they mentioned needing during a previous conversation can remind them that you care. It doesn't have to be anything grand. A simple note saying, "Thinking of you," or dropping off a homemade meal if you live nearby can make a big impact. These little acts of kindness help reinforce the idea that you're there for them no matter what. Now that we've covered how communication styles and small gestures can improve your relationship, let's move on to another crucial aspect: setting healthy boundaries. As much as we want our kids to stay close, it's also important to respect their space and independence. After all, they're adults now, navigating their own lives, and sometimes they need room to grow without feeling smothered. We'll talk about how finding the right balance between being present and giving space can actually bring you closer together. Finding the right balance between being present and giving space is a delicate art, but it's one that can truly transform your relationship with your kids. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine this. You've just spent an hour preparing a delicious meal because your son or daughter is coming over for dinner. You're excited to see them, catch up, and spend some quality time together. But when they arrive, they're glued to their phone, distracted by work emails or social media. It stings, doesn't it? You might feel like they're not appreciating the effort you put in, or worse, that they don't value your time together. But before you let frustration take over, consider this. Maybe they're not intentionally ignoring you. Life gets busy, responsibilities pile up, and sometimes people forget to fully engage in the moment. Instead of taking it personally, try gently setting boundaries that encourage more meaningful interactions. For example, you could say something like, "I'd love it if we could have dinner without distractions, just us catching up." This approach isn't about scolding them. It's about expressing what you need while still respecting their autonomy. When done with kindness, it can actually strengthen your connection rather than create tension. Now, let's talk about another common challenge: expectations. As parents, it's natural to want the best for our kids. We envision certain milestones for them: getting married, having children, building a successful career, and sometimes those visions don't align with the paths they choose. And that's okay. The truth is, everyone has their own journey, and trying to mold someone else's life into what we think is best can lead to resentment on both sides. If you find yourself feeling disappointed because your child hasn't followed the path you imagined, take a step back and ask yourself this question: what's most important to me? My vision of their life or their happiness? More often than not, the answer will point toward the latter. By letting go of rigid expectations, you free yourself from unnecessary disappointment and give your child the gift of unconditional support. That doesn't mean you can't share your thoughts or concerns. It just means doing so in a way that respects their choices and individuality. One powerful way to show this kind of support is by celebrating their successes, no matter how small. Did your daughter finally finish a big project at work? Did your son start learning a new hobby he's passionate about? Take the time to acknowledge these achievements, even if they seem minor to you. A heartfelt compliment or a note of encouragement can remind them that you're proud of who they are, not just what they accomplish. Over time, these positive reinforcements build a foundation of mutual respect and understanding. Of course, rebuilding a relationship takes patience, especially if there's been distance or tension for a while. It's easy to get discouraged if things don't improve overnight, but remember, progress happens gradually. Think of it like planting a garden. You don't see results immediately, but with consistent care and nurturing, beautiful things begin to grow. In the same way, every small effort you make to connect with your kids adds up, creating a stronger bond over time. Speaking of consistency, there's one final piece of the puzzle that ties everything together: showing vulnerability. Many seniors feel like they always have to be the strong ones, the rock of the family. But allowing yourself to be open and honest about your feelings can actually bring you closer to your kids. Maybe you've been feeling lonely or worried about the future. Sharing those emotions in a calm, non-demanding way can help your children understand where you're coming from and inspire them to reach out more often. We'll dive deeper into why vulnerability is such a powerful tool and how you can use it to foster deeper connections. Along the way, I'll share some practical tips for starting these kinds of conversations without feeling awkward or exposing too much. After all, opening up isn't about airing every detail of your life. It's about creating moments of genuine connection that remind your kids how much you love and value them. Now, let's talk about vulnerability and why it's such a powerful tool for rebuilding relationships. When you think about the people you feel closest to in your life, chances are they're the ones who've been open and honest with you. That's because vulnerability creates a bridge. It allows others to see your true self, flaws and all, and invites them to do the same. For many seniors, though, being vulnerable can feel uncomfortable or even scary. After years of playing the role of a strong, dependable parent, it might seem unnatural to admit that you're feeling lonely or unsure. But here's the thing. Your kids aren't just your children anymore. They're adults who want to connect with you on a deeper level. So, how do you start? It begins with small steps. Maybe during your next conversation, instead of asking about their job or grandkids, you share something personal. For example, you could say, "Lately, I've been thinking a lot about how quickly time flies. Sometimes it makes me wish we could spend more time together." This kind of statement isn't demanding or guilt-inducing. It's simply an honest expression of your feelings. And when your kids hear that, they'll likely respond with empathy and understanding. They may not change their behavior overnight, but planting that seed of openness can lead to meaningful conversations down the road. Another way to practice vulnerability is by apologizing if there's been tension in the past. Let's face it, no relationship is perfect, and there might have been moments where misunderstandings or hurt feelings created distance between you and your child. A sincere apology can go a long way in healing those wounds. You don't need to over-explain or make excuses. A simple, heartfelt acknowledgement is enough. For instance, you could say, "I know a few years ago I said something that upset you, and I'm really sorry for that. It wasn't my intention, and I hope we can move forward from it." This shows humility and lets your child know that you value the relationship enough to take responsibility for your part in any past conflicts. Finally, don't underestimate the power of celebrating small victories, both theirs and yours. Life is full of challenges, whether you're managing health issues, adjusting to retirement, or simply trying to keep up with a rapidly changing world. When you accomplish something, no matter how minor it might seem, like mastering a new piece of technology, completing a home project, or even just enjoying a peaceful afternoon, share it with your kids. It reminds them that you're not just their parent, you're also a person with dreams, struggles, and achievements. Likewise, celebrate their milestones, no matter how small. Did they get a promotion at work? Start a new hobby? Survive a tough week? Let them know you're proud of them. These moments of mutual appreciation strengthen your bond and lay the groundwork for more positive interactions in the future. As we wrap up today's discussion, let's recap what we've covered. First, improving the communication starts with listening more and asking thoughtful, open-ended questions. Second, small gestures of kindness, whether it's a text message or a homemade meal, can remind your kids how much you care. Third, setting healthy boundaries ensures that your relationship remains respectful and balanced. Fourth, letting go of rigid expectations and embracing your child's unique path fosters trust and understanding. And finally, practicing vulnerability and celebrating life's little victories deepens your emotional connection. Remember, it's never too late to rebuild a relationship or strengthen the bonds you already have. Small changes made consistently can lead to big results. You deserve to live a fulfilling, joyful life, surrounded by love and connection, no matter your age. If you found this video helpful, please share your thoughts or experiences in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more tips and advice tailored to seniors like you. Here's to living your best life and building stronger relationships with the people who matter most. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.